Welcome into this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan with you. Great to have you along. As today we're joined by Ben Steichen, boys soccer, and this show brought to you today by Anderson Flooring. So let's get right into it. At least you're having a little nicer weather for some practices and stuff right now. But soccer, it'll be here before we know it, and it's always an adventure with these spring sports playing because you never know what the weather will be. Because one day you may be playing in 80 degrees, and the next day you may be playing at 20.
We've experienced that all over. It seems like right now. I mean, you get the high today, it's 60. A couple of weeks ago it was negative, and we're not
Yeah.
outside at all. So yeah, it's always fun and an adventure. But the guys really handle it well, and a lot of times they're just itching and raring to get out there, regardless of the weather.
Yeah, and talking to you a little bit off air, big freshman group. I mean, you start talking 20, you said 23
Yeah,
kids that are freshmen.
yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of learning varsity. They know the game naturally, but there's going to be a lot of learning how to play varsity. But good, promising future it looks like ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most numbers we've had. We got 63 guys overall, which we've never had really above 42. So now when we start adding 23 freshmen, we got 19 sophomores, and then only 9 seniors. You're still looking at that going, wow. I mean, that's promising for the future, but now just kind of getting into that high school realm and then kind of coming off of last year and kind of building that program the way that you want to and the way that you guys are used to.
What's the hardest thing for a freshman to adapt to in varsity?
I think the speed of the game usually. You get a game like where it's not near as fast with it. You're not having pressure near as much. And now when they get to this one, they've got speed, and now you've also got a little bit of that physicality. It's all over the field. So really, actually, a combination between speed and the physicality.
All right, so a big class of freshmen, but naturally you can only put so many on the field at a time. So is there any in there that are going to get some varsity action and you think will help out this year?
I don't know. We try to we're trying to shield the freshmen as much as we can. Kind of bring them along slowly, so they're not feeling that immense pressure of saying, "Hey, I've got to be the guy right now as a freshman." We got a few that are probably willing, and their mindset is that I want to be there. So we're thinking that we might have one or two maybe by the end of the season, but we're just kind of waiting and seeing how they go with everything going through. I mean, it's a long season. We actually have the largest group of guys we've ever had, which means that we've had the largest schedule we've ever had. I mean, we seem like we're playing 3 times a week with some team or anything like that. So just getting them experience and getting them in there, and if they can and help us out, that'd be great. If the older guys are able to step up and keep them off the field, then that'll be fantastic for them too, because then they'll just get that extra little bit of time to not feel that pressure yet.
Well, let's talk about the varsity crew now. And, you go into a season, you envision what you have coming in, and you envision how you're going to play that, but things always will change depending on, somebody's playing good at this time. Somebody maybe a senior's thinking about something else. We know how it goes, but how do you envision your roster looking like as far as this upcoming season kind of going into things?
I envision we've got about 6 guys returning that got some playing time, varsity starters or maybe some lettermen coming off the bench. So we've got those. So we're going to add in a few from last year now that didn't get there. So we're going to really kind of supplement that with some seniors that are just coming along now that have finally developed to that stage, along with some juniors, and then a couple of sophomores. We got 2 sophomores, maybe 3 that really could provide us some depth and allow us. So if we can keep that right there where we're thinking about, it's going to be mostly a senior and junior group, and so they do have some experience, and that'll help a little bit as we kind of transition from last year's loaded senior class to this year. Now we're transitioning into those guys that had to play the backup role.
So, what do you see as maybe a strength of this team kind of going in? So, where do you think you guys can be really good this year?
I think that there's a different type of team mentality. Last year it was a lot of seniors, so they grew up together. They'd been around each other, so they had that tight knit with the seniors. But now you got this worldly view a lot more with this team mentality, with the guys thinking, hey, these freshmen, some of them are siblings of some of those juniors or seniors, and others of them they've known for a long period of time. So I think that team mentality is going to be a huge strength as it goes in. And then secondary would be some resilience. No matter what we're throwing at them right now, they're rebounding. They're coming back, the next day, and they're ready to go, regardless of whether we're coaching them or they're struggling on one day to the next. So.
Yeah. Well, they've restructured playoffs and so many different things, except for soccer, right? So, And that leads to the next thing. To get to playoffs, you got to finish top 4 in the district, and that is not an easy task in the district you guys find yourself in every year.
No, no, we seem to always feel like we're in the toughest district as we go in, and that top four, we've had discussions of changing it. It hadn't happened, so we just go with what we have right now. And so this year we've got we've got Broken Arrow, returning district champs is going to be in ours, and we go there for their senior night. But then you've also got some returning familiar faces. We get Enid and Stillwater, which are rivalry games, which are tough enough, and they're both on the road this year. We've also got Yukon newcomer, but that's a distance to travel these guys have got to get used to. And then we get our 3 home games against quality opponents. Owasso, which was a really tightly contested match last year. You get Putnam North this year coming here, as well as Norman North, who's always a perennial defensive-minded team, possession-oriented, that is very, very good and a playoff team. So we've got a lot of playoff caliber teams as we go into it, and it just always seems to be tougher.
How long do we got until we get started?
We will get started. Our first preseasons are going to be February 15th. We got about 3 preseason dates for our JVs and our varsities, and then our first regular season is going to be March the 1st at home against Glenpool.
Yeah, and it'll be here, man, before you know it, right?
Yeah, just about 3 weeks away from playing, so we're really excited about it. The guys are going to get out. We're going to have beautiful weather today. I know the guys are anxious to practice every day and just get to play. They usually stick around for another 45 minutes after practice every day just to play some pickup.
Yeah, so your goals this year, knowing you're in a tough district, what do you look at and what do you want to achieve?
I think we look at our season in 2 parts, really. We're going to look at it before district and then district play. So we always go into those 8 games before district, and we're looking at it saying, hey, we want to develop and see who we have. We want a definite plan. So since we're replacing so many starters from last year, we want to just go ahead and get that gelling first and then be at the top notch. And then when we get in there, of course, our goal is always to win 4 or 5 district games minimum and really, push for those playoff races. Yes. One of our ultimate goals is to go ahead and say we want a winning record again. It felt good last year. We want it again. Then we want to get to the playoffs. That was the next stage. So we always just want to keep building on top of it. So play well. You have a winning record, make the playoffs.
All right. Well, best of luck. Let's hope you can get it done. And
Appreciate
like I
it.
said, 1 month away until the first match, and it's spring sports. I mean, we're winding down winter when you think about it, but spring sports are practicing in full gear, even though it's not spring-like sometimes outside, even though it has been a little bit more lately. But looking forward to everything getting going, and best of luck, and get out there and achieve those goals.
Appreciate it, sir.
Ben Steichen, boys soccer, and that's going to do it for today's Coach's Corner. It's been brought to you by Anderson Flooring. Jordan Woodruff saying so long, and until next time, go Cats.